No.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hello.
And the second UCU WCC women's basketball round matchup between Pacific and Santa Clara. The Tigers advance with a 76-60 victory, and Pacific will move on to the third round on Saturday at approximately 3 p.m. They'll take on third seed Pepperdine. We're joined by Pacific head coach Bradley Davis, along with student athlete Valerie Higgins, who recorded her league-leading 13th double-double of the season. Coach, your thoughts on the win, please?
You know, credit to Santa Clara. I thought they finished this season off pretty well. They were pretty strong down the stretch the last few weeks, so we knew it was going to be a tough game. And I thought the third quarter, our team did a great job of just kind of finding it within our gut to work hard and get some defensive stops. And I think that was really the key to the game down the stretch. Obviously, Val with a big game, but then Tillman and Kaylin coming off the bench gave us some big lifts.
Thank you. We'll take questions from media. If you got it, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Let us know who you are, please. We'll start with John here in the second row.
Hi, John Krumpecker, WCC Sports. To Valerie, what was it about or how did your team build a pretty good lead late in the third and into the fourth quarter? What were you doing to be efficient as a team?
I think getting stops defensively was definitely a big key. We kind of, every timeout and Bradley talking at halftime, we kind of keyed in saying, like if we're not going to put the ball in the basket, then we have to get stops. Like just doing the little things and limiting to one chance shots. So I think that was really big for us.
Additional questions for Pacific? John?
Bradley, I noticed you got some really, you mentioned it earlier, but a couple big contributions from two of your bench players, Randhawa and Tillman.
Yeah.
Has that been the case throughout the season? Do you usually get a boost from those two, or was today an exception?
Not an exception, but we've been a little inconsistent throughout the year coming off the bench. I think Kaylin and Liana and Tillman have been the most consistent, and we really needed something. We were in foul trouble there in the first half for a while, and that was compounded a little bit in the third quarter. So when those two came off and gave us a lift, just energy-wise, it really kind of gave everybody a lift.
Other questions for the Tigers?
Valerie, this one's going to be for you. I spoke to a couple Pacific people, coaches, and on the men's team, and of course part of your team. And I was told that the previous two matchups against this team, you guys didn't play well. Maybe not your best basketball. What kind of basketball do you feel like you guys played today?
I think even today, I wouldn't say we played our best, but we did what we had to do to win. And I think that with everything at stake, it definitely meant a little bit more to us today. And I think from 1 through 9 on our team that was here, like we all just kind of gave our heart on the floor and did what we had to do to win.
Coach, this one's for you. You called a timeout late third quarter. I believe it was Jessica. I don't remember correctly, but she said to the rest of your girls, I don't care how frustrated we are. If we start yelling at each other, if we keep yelling at each other, we're not going to win this game. As a coach, how do you help them regain that composure?
I yelled at them. No, well, a little bit I did, but it was just to get attention. And this team throughout the year has played team basketball. It's why we've been successful. And that doesn't mean you're perfect throughout the whole year. That means when you are losing track and kind of losing your way a little bit, somebody's able to pull you back onto track and pull us all back together. And that's what Jess was talking, but really it's the whole team that's on board with that same message.
Thanks, Coach.
Any other questions for Pacific? We'll go back to John.
Yes, Valerie, can you talk about tomorrow's game against Pepperdine? What do you have to do to be successful against Pep?
I would definitely say shut down the league's MVP. That's definitely a key. She's an amazing player, credit to her, and that's going to be a key. And just play, team basketball like we have been doing this entire season. Just be ourselves and kind of take care of the ball and keep doing the same things that we have been doing, to be honest.
Anything else for the Tigers? John, last question.
Yeah, Bradley, your assessment of Pepperdine and what you need to do.
Yeah, they're obviously fueled by Yasmin, but you know, their supporting cast has really been what's fueled them to get to that 3rd seed. So we have to be dialed in as a team defensively, obviously with the focus on making sure we slow down, harass, do whatever we need to do with Yasmin, because she's a great player, and I think Pepperdine's had they've had a great run this conference year. They've been a great team. I thought coaches has done a great job, and obviously Yasmin. So it's going to be a tall task, but we'll be ready.
Congrats on the win. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
See you then. Congratulations. Yes? No, we'll need it tomorrow. You can take that. After you win on Tuesday, you can have it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Instead, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. I know, right? It's showing strong. John. And John. Joining us now from the Santa Clara Broncos, head coach Bill Carr, along with student athlete Drew Taliafoa. Coach, we'd like to begin with you, please. An opening statement on the game.
You know, it's obviously the toughest time of the year when a group that's been together 100+ practices, months together, you know, every day, comes to an end. But as I told the team in the locker room, you know, I would go to battle with this group just about anywhere and not trade them. And the girl to my left, God put us together for some reason, and she was a pleasure to coach and gave everything she could, and emotionally and physically to the program, and leaves certainly a great legacy. Proud of my team. I mean, we battled. This is not the result we wanted. But as I told them, the 18 games we play during conference, they're valuable. They're very valuable because you want as much rest in this tournament as possible. And it's a lesson that we can learn and take forward with us. And you know what? Credit to Bradley and his group. They played great. Always a great matchup, and I wish them well.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions from media members. If you got one, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start with John in the second row, please.
Yes, John Crumpacker, West Coast Conference Sports. To Drew, you started the fourth period with the difficulty of scoring. What was behind that? Was it something that Pacific was doing defensively to you? Or?
I'm not sure if it was. I mean, Pacific really stepped their game up this game. They were a tough opponent to beat today. But I think it just wasn't our day today offensively. I mean, we weren't making shots that we make every day. So it was a little bit of that, a little bit of Pacific as well. But I know my teammates and I, we really tried our best out there. So.
Additional questions for the Broncos?
Yeah, Bill, if you can take that a question I had about difficulty scoring, especially in the third and fourth periods when you after a close game at halftime. What was
we were just looking at the rundown of the game, and we were up 5 or 6 in the late in the third quarter, and looked like we started rushing a little bit, and then they started scoring, and certainly the momentum shifted. You know, I thought maybe some of our decision making and shot selection, you know, wasn't the greatest, you know, which didn't help. But credit to Pacific. You know, they guarded us and did some things, but they really got rolling on the offensive end, made some shots, and we didn't counter.
Any other questions for Santa Clara? Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, John.